Hello everybody, my name is Just Scrub, but you guys can call me Scrubby, and today we're playing some more Kerbal Space Program. In the previous episode, we finished the Go for Orbit tutorial, which basically just taught us how to build a rocket that was, its purpose being to orbit around the planet, and now we actually get to pilot it. So training, orbiting 101. This training scenario covers the basics of flying a spacecraft in orbit, essential maneuvers like raising and lowering apoapsis and periapsis nodes, and also important concepts such as what the terms apoapsis and periapsis mean. You'll start off in a low sorry, I had something in my throat. In a low circular orbit around Kerbal with the Orbiter 1 training craft ready to go. Okay, Mr. Gene Kerbin's here to give us instructions again. Orbiting 101. Welcome to the Orbiting 101 training program. I'm Gene Kerbin and I'm going to teach you the basics of orbiting. I assume you've already done the basic flight tutorials and are ready to learn how to get around in space. If you haven't done them, I hope you will. I hope you know what you're doing. Let's get started. Orbiting basics. Orbiting is really nothing more than free falling. The only thing that is that as you fall, you're moving so fast while I'm slowly sinking. Okay, I just had to. Anyway, thing is that as you fall, you're moving so fast forward that you actually miss the ground because up here there's no atmosphere to slow you down. At this height, you will continue to free fall endlessly around the planet without having to use your engine. We are currently on a low, almost circular orbit around Kerbal. To get a better view of the situation, press M to go to the map view. Okay. Wow, look at that. Yeah, so we're just literally orbiting the planet. That's really cool. Okay, the map view. This is the map view. Here you can see your ship's position and its current trajectory around the planet. Hold right click and move the mouse to look around and see your orbit from various angles. Also, hovering over the icons of the map will display more information about them, and by right clicking the node you will pin the info. Close the map when you're ready. Press the M key again so we can proceed. Kerbal apoapsis, Kerbal periapsis, and this is what Orbiter 1A. Oh, I see. So I can. Ooh, fancy. Make sure all of them are pinned. M. Okay. Altitude and SAS. Good. Let's get practical now. I trust you already know your basics controls. Oh god. They're like, what are you doing? Okay. SAS. Keep me steady. Thank you. Okay, good. Let's practice now. I trust you already know your basic spacecraft controls up here. They're very much the same, except the lack of an atmosphere makes the ship behave quite a bit differently because there's no drag slowing you down. For every input you apply, you have to apply an opposite one to come to a stop again. I'm going to remotely nudge your altitude controls a little. Try to get the ship back under control afterwards. If you find you're totally out of control, hit T to toggle SAS and it'll automatically cancel the remaining rotations. Are you ready? Sure. Okay, whoa. God, what are you doing? There, you are piloting. Now stop rotating using the pitch and yaw controls. God. Wow, this is crazy. Okay. Oop. Okay. This is pretty difficult. There we go. That's what we want, right? So I just need to spray it this way to, or to stop it from doing that. Or is it spinning in a different direction now? Okay. Nicely done. I just pushed T. Not even gonna lie. I don't even see it shoot anything out. Oh, there it goes. So could I have just gone like that to... Oh, I guess I could have. Cool. Well, that's good to know. Oh, well, SAS is still on, so that's probably why. I'm just trying to figure this out so I could potentially fix it myself if I had to. So go like this. Interesting. It's kind of wonky because it's just like it's constantly in a state of just pitch. Okay, so then I just go like this to stop the spinning. What about roll? There we go, that'll help. Okay, that's enough of that. I don't know why you'd ever try to maneuver without SAS on, but whatever. Try that again. Okay, here we go. Okay. So, it's, try that again. I'm trying to figure out like which, it's slightly confusing like which way the ship's rotating, because it's rotating in a very weird way. There we go. That helps, right? Slow it down. Tilt it up this way. Okay. That almost makes sense. So can I do like multiple controls at once? So I can like... What does F do? Well, F fixed it. That was weird. Okay. Next, okay, orbiting 101. The nav ball. Let's have a look at the nav ball. Now you're probably seeing these symbols on it or no on it when you are spinning around. Here's what they mean, okay? Prograde and retrograde vectors, they point towards and away from your velocity vector respectively. That's it. Points to and away from where you're going. Okay. Radial in and out vectors, they point towards and away from the current orbited body. Okay, ooh, fancy. Okay, normal and anti-normal vectors, they are perpendicular to the orbital plane. They point upwards and downwards with respect to the orbital plane, respectively. Okay, now let's try something a little more involved. Open your map again. Okay, what we want to do now is go through some of the basic maneuvers you'll need to know. Let's try raising your apoapsis first. The apoapsis is the highest point in orbit, and it's indicated by the node marked AP. Okay, the best place to raise your apoapsis is at the periapsis, okay? PE node, which is the lowest point in your orbit. If you hover your mouse over the periapsis node, you'll see that you are going to reach it in a few minutes. Once there, will face Prograde and Burn. Press period to speed up time a little bit so we can get there faster. Okay, time is now passing. Oh, God, that's scary. Comma slows it down. Gotcha. Okay. I just wanted to slow it back down so I could read this. Okay, time is now passing 5 times faster than normal, so we should be there in a few moments. You can control the warp with period and comma keys, or click the arrows on the panel at the top left of the screen, which I realized earlier, but it would not let me do. Okay, outside of the training though, you'll have to warp time down to 1 times yourself, so you don't go too fast or you might miss your mark. You can also click on any given point in your orbit and click the warp here options. The ship systems will automatically warp time as fast as possible to get you there. Warp here. Okay. I'm gonna pause it so I can read this and I don't accidentally extend. Okay, essential maneuvers. Okay, we're a few seconds away from the periapsis now. Time to turn Prograde and Burn. However, instead of closing the map, let's just bring up the nav ball here so we can see what's happening to our orbit as we accelerate. To bring up the nav ball on the map, click the little tab on the bottom center of the screen or press the keypad period button. So, I'm assuming this. Okay. Well, okay, it helps if I unpause the game. We're doing good. Time to do our burn. Turn the ship to face the prograde vector. Remember that you can just activate stability assist key and click the orbit prograde button next to the nav ball, and the ship's pilot or probe core will do it for you. Remember, the prograde vector looks like this. Okay. Prograde, is it this? Wow, that is so cool. Okay, we're now turned to Prograde. Check SAS is engaged for you to keep her steady, and press the Z key to accelerate at full throttle. Notice how opposite side of your orbit starts to rise as you accelerate. Oh wow, that's cool. Keep thrusting until you are altitude. Keep thrusting Prograde until your apoapsis altitude reaches 8,000. So X shuts it off. Okay. Wow, it like dead stops, which is kind of weird because I figured, because the ship's still gonna have momentum to carry it. But what do I know? 5. Okay. Now we just have to wait. Wow. I didn't quite read that. Well done. This is how you raise your apoapsis node. While orbiting maneuvers, pretty much everything you do will affect the opposite side of your orbit. So to raise the highest point, apoapsis, you thrust forward, or prograde at the lowest point. Periapsis. Similar to the ways you raise your periapsis, you thrust prograde at apoapsis. We're on the way to the apoapsis now, so let's just do that. Press next when ready, and I'll warp to get us there quickly. Okay. We're on our way to the apoapsis, and now notice how your ship loses speed as we rise. Interesting. That's because we're climbing away from the planet, so we lose speed as we go higher, just like a ball does when it's thrown back on Kerbal. Okay. The higher you are, the slower your orbit will be. Notice how the moon's orbital speed is around 540 meters per second. You can see this by hovering over the moon's marker, while yours is far higher. Okay. That's because the orbit is much slower than that of the moon. When we reach the apoapsis, we will burn Prograde again to raise the periapsis node and circularize your orbit. Okay, here we are. Same as before. Turn your ship to face Prograde. Mind that we are probably facing the other way right now, so the Prograde marker might not be visible at first, but you can find it easily because it's on the opposite side from the retrograde marker. Once you're facing the right direction, fire that engine and watch it rise. Okay, so boink. So then I just click on the Prograde button again. Keep burning Prograde until the orbit is nearly circular. Excellent. Eccentricity will be 0 when it's perfectly circular, so keep an eye on the eccentricity measure scale up to the orbit is 0 by the circular measure. Now where exactly is that at? Where do I see that? Nicely done. Is there a way to tell? Weird. Nicely done. This is how you change the size of your orbit. This maneuver should come in handy in many situations. Next, we'll look into changing your orbital inclination. Press next when ready to proceed. Okay. Your orbital inclination is the angle between your orbit and Kerbal's equator. If you've managed to maintain a reasonable amount of control so far, we should still be in nearly 0 inclination orbit. That is even though we've changed the altitude of our orbit, it still has the same inclination as before. Changing inclination is done by thrusting at a 90-degree angle to your prograde vector, but without changing your pitch relative to the surface. On our present nearly equatorial orbit, prograde is due east. That means to increase our inclination so that our orbit takes us to higher latitudes, we have to burn towards the normal direction. Okay? If all that I just said made your head spin, the nav ball once again comes to your rescue. In this case, you will need to use the normal vector to change your orbital inclination. Let's try that now. Turn the ship to the normal vector's direction and open the throttle. Okay, boink. And open it up. Okay, notice how as you burn north, your orbit starts to tilt up on one side, but the periapsis and apoapsis nodes remain mostly the same. That is because we are accelerating on a completely new direction, so this maneuver doesn't add or take away any energy from the orbit as long as we are careful to continue facing normal during the burn. Keep accelerating towards the normal until your inclination is about 10. So can I, like, fast forward this? Okay. You can't do it while you're under acceleration, apparently. Well, that is good to know. So now we just have to wait for this to finish. Yeah, you can see how it's just like, it looks, it's really cool. Oh, look at that. Good, this is how you change, wow. Good, this is how you change your orbital inclination. For these maneuvers, it's always better to do it in the slowest part of your orbit so you don't have to spend much delta V to turn your orbit around. That also means that inclination changes on larger orbits. Well, hold on. Is that the moon? Oh, it is. Cool. Sorry, I got distracted when I saw that ring around us. Changes on larger orbits, such as we are on now, take less fuel than the same inclination change on a lower orbit. Also, keep in mind that changing inclination doesn't necessarily mean accelerating to the north or south. It means accelerating at right angles to your prograde vector, which on our nearly equatorial orbit also happen to be towards the north. Next, let's look at the last essential maneuver you need to learn: lowering your orbit. Orbiting 101, lower periapsis. Okay, as you can imagine, lowering your orbit's altitude is very much like racing it, only in reverse. Because there is no air up here, we can use our main engines to decelerate as we accelerate. Because the ship's orientation is not because our ship's orientation will not cause problems with airflow, and flying backwards is as easy as flying forwards, okay? Also, since our orbit is nearly circular, we can just turn retrograde and do our burn at any time now. So let's get to it. Turn toward the retrograde vector and start the engine up again. Bam. Okay. Keep burning retrograde until the periapsis altitude is around 20,000. Keeping it as close to possible this time. If you overshoot it and make it too low, to prograde and accelerate a little to bring it back up. For precision, remember that you can fine-tune your throttle using left control and left shift. Okay, we've got a while to go. Let's slow it down some. Gotta do a slow burn here. Not bad. Okay, that's it. You're now on your way back. 20,000 is low enough to hit the atmosphere, so you are now on a re-entry course to Kerbal. Once we are below 60,000 kilometers, the atmosphere will start slowing the ship down to the point where it won't have enough velocity to rise back up again. Okay, so that is all we need to do for this lesson. We should keep playing. You could keep playing and either perform more new maneuvers or ride this path down to a landing, or you could skip to the next lesson. If you do try for a landing, don't forget to decouple the capsule and deploy the parachutes. See you on the ground. Okay, so let's fly this baby. Bam. Now, if I... Hold on. If I, like, warp speed it... Oh, I can't because I'm entering the atmosphere, I'm assuming? Warning, using physics warp can affect structural stability. Be careful using it with large ships. Okay, it's fine. There we go. Don't worry, we're just coming into the planet. This is going to be exciting. I wonder exactly where we're going to land at. I guess technically we can figure it out because we're on a trajectory course. But yeah, somewhere in there. That looks good. Oh god. Okay, well it's... Okay. Let's turn that back down to normal, shall we? Okay, stuff is exploding, stuff is overheating, this is not good. They don't look happy. I think they are all going to die. Oh god, space. Okay. Is this staged properly? Nope. Ta-da! It's staged now. Oh, there's ship parts going into the ocean. I thought you just see it like casually floating down. Okay, can I speed it up? There we go. And are you going to deploy? Safe to deploy? Safe. Yes. Can you do so? Oh god, that was scary. I don't think it's gonna open in time. Oh, barely. Jeez. Okay. Well, that was a big crash noise. Yeah, you have to be really careful with this when you speed things up, apparently, because things like to break. Okay, let's have splashdown. Yeah, splashdown. Woo! Can you EVA? Ooh, wheel authority, fancy. Jeb, Bill, and Bob. We haven't met Bill or Bob yet. They look so happy to be back on the planet. Okay. So, that was a lot of fun. We successfully made an orbit around Kerbal. We landed safely back onto the planet's surface, so I think that's it for this episode. Ooh, let's see. Is the next episode the moon, or is that one... No, that's science basics, so that's probably going to be through Kerbal scientific method. Ooh. So that will probably be boring, but hey, we'll see in the next episode, I guess. So I just want to thank you guys so much for taking the time out of your day to watch these videos, and hopefully come back for more. Goodbye.